Well, I don't know about this one, guys, but it looks like Mark Zuckerberg is attempting to weasel his way into the fold of MAGA. He is trying to sneak his way into Trump's inner circle. This was confirmed by Stephen Miller. This is Donald Trump's deputy chief of staff of policy, that he met with Donald Trump at Mar-a-Lago. And, looking back, I see all of the harm that Mark Zuckerberg has caused in the 2020 election on Facebook with all the COVID stuff and the schmack scene stuff. And now he's trying to, get close to Donald Trump. He's trying to, make amends with the America First, the freedom-loving Americans who don't believe in censorship, don't believe that they should be forced to, inject something into their arm. And I wonder, because this seems to happen a lot, where you have these elites that really have zero repercussions when it comes to their actions. I get it. They're dealing with things on a very large scale. So maybe we have to look at things in perspective. But really what happened over the last 4 years, I believe, was pretty serious considering. And our country got into a very precarious situation. But this is Stephen Miller confirming that Mark Zuckerberg was at Mar-a-Lago talking to Donald Trump. And it looks like, he's wanting to work with Donald Trump. And, this is something that I believe happens pretty much every 4 years. Every 4 years, there's a new administration, and you have the elites that, make their rounds. They meet with the president, meet with the new power, the new man in town, and, make sure that they are on, that they have common ground and try to kiss the ring, I guess, if you can put it that way. But what do you guys think about this, about Mark Zuckerberg all of a sudden flip-flopping? Do you think it's legitimate, or do you think he's trying to, look out for his own best interest? That's what I think. But this is Stephen Miller talking about this, but take a look.
Quick, Politico is reporting that Mark Zuckerberg was at Mar-a-Lago today meeting with President Trump. Can you confirm that?
Yes, that's correct. And Mark Zuckerberg has been very clear about his desire to be a supporter of and a participant in this change that we're seeing all around America, all around the world with this reform movement that Donald Trump is leading. Mark Zuckerberg, like so many business leaders, understand that President Trump is an agent of change, an agent of prosperity.
Right.
And so business leaders, CEOs, everywhere, they want to be an element, a supporter, a booster of making our economy prosperous, delivering for American workers, and making sure that America is the most powerful, wealthiest, freest nation on the face of the earth. So we'll see what comes of that. And Mark, obviously, he has his own interests, and he has his own company, and he has his own agenda, but he's made clear that he wants to support the national renewal of America under President Trump's leadership.
Good. It's good for the president. He turned the page with some talk show hosts on another channel, and he might be maybe getting over the fact that Zuckerbucks really impacted the 2020 election in the battleground areas. So we'll see what happens. Stephen, thanks for confirming that. I appreciate it. I'll talk to you again soon, and congratulations on the new job.
So I'm not really sure what kind of deal Donald Trump is cutting with Zuckerberg. I don't know what he told him. I don't know if Zuckerberg went to Mar-a-Lago and begged for mercy. But also, I think you have to kind of look at it like this. I do believe that there needs to be consequences for these people. There needs to be consequences for actions. But at the same time, looking at it through maybe Donald Trump's eyes, how much can he gain from just getting Mark Zuckerberg on board on his side versus going after Mark Zuckerberg? I believe that these are the things that Donald Trump is weighing in his mind. I don't think he's forgiving Mark Zuckerberg. I think he's realizing, or he realizes, because he's a smart businessman, even though maybe someone like me, I don't like it because I see all of the crazy stuff that Mark Zuckerberg has done in the past that completely screwed over our country. At the same time, Donald Trump, I believe, is looking at it like this. He's like, listen, I have an agenda. Is it going to cost more time and energy fighting against Zuckerberg with all of his high power attorneys, all of his billions of dollars, all of his influence, or simply getting him on board with my administration, my agenda? I think these are the types of things that Donald Trump is looking at. But then we have somebody that's completely on the other side of the spectrum, and she kind of views it from a one-dimensional perspective. And I could definitely understand and appreciate this perspective. This is kind of a perspective I have as well. I look at this, I'm like, why is Donald Trump letting Mark Zuckerberg walk into Mar-a-Lago? Why? What is Donald Trump playing at here? Because, I mean, for years now, Mark Zuckerberg has just been the absolute face of just this disgusting elite Silicon Valley type who lords over everybody and picks and chooses who gets to speak and who is kicked off of the platform. Basically, this town square where everybody gets to speak or everybody is allowed to speak. And this should be, in my opinion, part of freedom of speech, because if you are not allowed to speak online, really, how far is your voice going to go? But Laura Loomer, she is not happy with this whole situation. And she went on let's say, a tweet rampage. Okay. She's known for these. She does these a lot. But she said in one of these tweets, she said, so many of President Trump's supporters still remain permanently banned by Facebook and Instagram. I don't really think there's going to be any justice for the millions of people whose businesses were stunted and even destroyed online because they were denied access for simply supporting Trump. People have been denied jobs, too, because Facebook created policies that said they would ban people for simply taking pictures with people Facebook deemed dangerous. All of those people designated as dangerous by Facebook are Trump supporters. Now Zuckerberg is being rewarded for his attacks on Trump's base, and I think she makes a really good point there. Like, what about those people? Where's the justice for them? So does Mark Zuckerberg just get to waltz into Mar-a-Lago and promise Donald Trump that he's on board with his agenda and promise Donald Trump that he's going to help him, that he's going to end all the censorship on his platform, that he's America first, that he's going to recognize the Constitution, he's going to believe in the First Amendment? Is that what's going to happen all of a sudden? I mean, I had a situation on Instagram, this was a few weeks ago, right before the election happened, where one of my videos that I posted on Instagram was marked for disinformation because I posted a video of Kamala Harris saying that the hurricane victims were getting $700. They marked it with this context needed, and they said in the little notice that they put below that this was disinformation. It needs more context, and that Kamala Harris never said that the hurricane victims were only getting $700. And it's stuff like this that really gets me. Nowhere in the post did I ever say that the hurricane victims were only getting $700. Yet they referenced that in the fact check. And then my account went into risk of demonetization, which means I can't make money off of my account, which is, this is what I do, right? I do social media, I do YouTube, I do stuff like that. This is how I make my money. I do shows. So it demonetized my account for, I believe it was like 90 days, roughly. Based off of something that never happened, right? And the appeals process is impossible. It takes forever, and 9 times out of 10, it's not going to go anywhere anyways. So, I have a personal small experience with this, and I'm really wondering if it's going to get any better. I really wonder that. I hope it does, but I can definitely see Laura Loomer's perspective here. What about all these people? What about the people who lost their livelihood, their businesses? I know lots of people that run businesses on Facebook, and I know a lot of them had a really hard time during the COVID years, and they lost a massive chunk of income. I know I've read stories about businesses that were selling online that had cops show up to their doorstep because even though they weren't, doing a in-person business, they still were being shut down. And, it's stuff like that. It's like we came so close to the brink of something very scary in our country. And Mark Zuckerberg just kind of sat back and let it all happen. And now, I hope I'm not speaking out of turn because I don't know exactly what went down at Mar-a-Lago, but it sure seems like he's simply being allowed to waltz back in to Mar-a-Lago, promise Donald Trump the world, promise him he's going to be on board. And what exactly is he going to be facing as far as repercussions? What do you guys think? Do you think this is smart of Donald Trump to do? I know these are things that he weighs in his mind. I almost guarantee you that's a facet of what he's thinking. Do I fight against Mark Zuckerberg, or do I, use his influence, use his money and, his social media platform to try to direct it into a positive way? It's like, it's like a trade-off. And I understand that completely. But at some point, I feel like these elites do need some sort of consequences, because is it ever going to get better if these elites never think twice when they do something like what Mark Zuckerberg did in 2020? But let me know what your thoughts are on this. Comment down below. Let me know what you think. Like, subscribe to my channel. I'd really appreciate it. But until then, I will see you on the next one.